loud? Look at brother, he doesn't think it's too loud, he loves it. He wants to drive it bad. Yeah. We're finally coming back into the drifting world. It's been 10 years. I did have an E46 before, but I only drove it once or twice, or maybe 3 times. It didn't work out. I sold it. I should have never sold it. And I always planned to build another car, and it sat and rotted for 4 years. I never found the time to actually put the parts together. We had the parts, we had the budget. I never actually built it. Too busy with family and working, and I just didn't prioritize it. So we bought Tyler Berry's old car. So now we're here. We smashed the easy button. This is the introduction to the new car. This is a E36. I think it's a 328 originally. It's LS powered. This is a Iron Block 6.0. It has a TR6060 transmission. It has a quick change rear, full cage, fire suppression, all the normal stuff. SLR angle kit, of course, status seats, Kansai wheels, a full set. I think it has 12 of them. So it's pretty sweet. We've been tinkering with a bunch of little stuff, trying to get it dialed in for Pro-Am. We had to recertify the fire suppression and just do a bunch of miscellaneous stuff that I found to bring it up to my level and make sure that it was fully serviced and bring out this full spare package or a decent spare package to start with. Unfortunately, this just came about. I've only driven this car one time. And this weekend we were going to go straight to Pro-Am, to the USDC Drift Series in Florida, and we're going to hop right into Pro-Am without any real practice. I drove fuel fast. We got about 40 laps in the car. It ran really well. And that's it. So we're going to come out and hop right into competition with this car. Back in the day, I drove Pro-Am at a pretty high level. We drove all around the Southeast, and we also drove Jamaica twice, Curacao, Aruba. We got to do that. The Caribbean Drift Series a little bit, which was really fun.
You got it on. Huh? That's a different kind of slope going up in Middle State, and good life down there.
So we drove a lot. My whole life was drifting. My wife was behind that. You know, we ate ramen noodles and spent more than we ever could afford drifting. And I finally pulled the plug at 30 and said, I have to move on with life. We need to get a home and pay off all this debt from drifting and get serious. So it's 10 years later, and we've actually, you know, I'm not saying I'm wealthy, but we probably have enough money to jump back into this for a little while, at least play with it, probably for a while. Have a small welding business called South Florida Welding. That's going to be the title sponsor for the car. And, you know, we're going to go drifting. We're going to hop right back into competition and see where we lie, even without practice and rusty skills. So that's going to be fun to really see. I didn't want to come out, get a car, and go drive 10 or 20 events and then get into Pro-Am, because I really wanted to showcase what happens when you have a 10-year washed-up driver that, you know, I was at a decent level. I was at a good Pro-Am level without a great car. And what happens when you take a 10-year hiatus, you know, and then hop right into competition? So I'm really curious to see how that pans out. I think it's going to be neat. I don't expect to go out and be on the podium, but it'd be really neat if we did. But if we don't get put in the trailer right away, that's going to be awesome in itself. I kind of thought, what better way to come out and start driving again than to jump right into Pro-Am and really gauge where we're at. And also at the Pro-Am, that's where you're going to drive at a higher level, because those guys are pushing. They want a Pro Spec license. I'm not ready for a Pro Spec license, but they're going to bring me up as I follow and lead and chase with these drivers. So that's my mentality there. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's way more expensive than driving practice events, but I crave competition personally. I've always enjoyed the pressure of it. So for me, I think that's the way to go. I want to pop into some of the backstory of buying this car because it was really wild. I had a gallbladder surgery and I was cut wide open, and they actually had to cut me a lot more than they expected, which I'm not real dramatic about, but I couldn't work for a few days. So Fuel Fest was coming up this following weekend. It was a Monday. It was Monday morning, and we had talked to Tyler Berry. I talked to him about a month earlier. I gave him an offer 3 weeks earlier, and he didn't really care for the offer, and I thought it was extremely fair. So I threw another $1,000 on the offer, and I sent it back out again because I really wanted to drive this car at Fuel Fest versus my wife's clapped out 350Z. The janky Z, which really is no fun to drive. So that was Monday. I sent him the offer, and he was hot about it. And then Wednesday, he came back to me at about noon and said he'd accept the offer. And by that time, it was Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Me and a buddy had a trailer. We were loaded up, and we were headed to Tennessee to go buy this car. We drove straight through the night, stopped and had one good Korean barbecue meal, chilled out a little, waited for Tyler Berry to get out of work, and then we went over there, checked the car out. It checked out pretty well. Apparently I didn't check it out thorough enough, but that's okay. That's another story. And loaded up, left Tennessee Thursday night at 8 p.m. So we got about an hour nap on the way up. We're driving straight through. We're back in Florida straight through. 12 hours later, we're back in Florida Friday morning at 8 a.m. Find out the windshield was broken, so I got a windshield guy to come out, put a windshield in it same day. We pulled a bunch of the old vinyl off the car, pulled the seat out, reset the seat, started mounting tires on these wheels, got everything loaded up. By the time 10 o'clock Friday night, I'm loaded up and we're ready for Fuel Fest. So then I hadn't slept. My surgery it's healing, but I couldn't work, so it was perfect downtime. And then we're driving Fuel Fest the next day. We took 37 ride-alongs plus the 6 of my crew. Here. It's a 6-liter iron block LS motor. Tyler Berry did pistons, rods, oil pump, link bar lifters. Got a big old hog cam in it, springs and retainers, all the normal stuff. He was sponsored by Holley, so it has a whole plethora of Holley: the high ram, the ECU, the big screen. So we set up a dyno day. I haul it over there. And a couple days before the dyno, I was cranking the car with the ignition off just to try to prime the oil pump after I changed the oil. And then I heard a dead spot when I was cranking it. I was like, oh no, and I just ignored it and just, it's okay. So then I haul it to Freddie. We got a dyno day this Saturday. I'm pumped. I want to see the car spin 450 and touch a tune-up. I want a little better drivability in the low speed because I really want to put a license plate on this car and go to Cars Coffee and go to burnouts in the street and stuff. In front of old grandma's at the grocery store, do a big wheel stand, I would never do that, but, sounds fun. So I want plates on, I want to fix the drivability. I showed up to Freddie, I'm like, hey, by the way, I heard this weird thing when cranking, I heard this dead spot. And he's like, let me hear it. Instantly, he's like, dude, you got a dead hole. You know that. And I was like, oh, I knew that. So we pulled the valve covers. Unfortunately, there wasn't a rocker off. The push rods aren't bent. Everything looks good. They're actuating well. Did a leak down. It's not coming out of the intake, not coming out of the exhaust. So unfortunately, it seems to be coming out of the crankcase. So I think that there's a cracked piston right now. Cylinder number one only has 30 psi. I don't have time right now. It's like Tuesday. Our race is Saturday. I don't have time to do a good job putting an engine in or pulling this engine out, even though I have a spare. I do have an old spare 6-liter iron block from my old days, but it's going to be a thrown together bastardized job, and I don't really want that. I want to take it apart and do a good job, either fix this if it needs a piston and board or a set of pistons, or put an LS3 or another iron block in it, but I don't want it to be a rushed, crappy job. We used to do that back in the day. We'd always build a motor the night before, and what you ended up having was a pile of junk. You're lucky if it made it through the event. You did a haphazard job, and I don't want that anymore. So I'm going to try to limp it through the event as it sits. I'm super bummed out. It's down a hole, so it's probably only making 300 or 300 some horsepower, 320. We're going to try to limp it through the event, hope it doesn't come apart. And if it doesn't come apart, as soon as the event's over, I'm pulling it out, and we are going to set it up either with a fresh motor or repair this and go from there, and then back on the dyno with Freddie and actually get a real tune and get this thing shaking. License plates. I'm going to add a muffler for the street so my neighbors don't shoot me in the face. And that's it. That's the big bummer. So that was our dyno days blues. I was amped that it was going to make 450, 460 with the high ram, but if it comes down, you got a dead hole. That's where we're at now. I hope it doesn't scatter. That's it. All right, we're super excited also to announce that Zek Nova has helped us out this year. Lewis Lawns and Zek Nova team is super cool to pick us up, even as a washed out team, driver. He saw us drive at Fuel Fast, and he's helped us out with tires this year, making this a lot more feasible. And the word out there is that the tires are great. So I've only ran one pair of them so far, and about halfway, so they were awesome, and I'm really hoping that they're great for the rest of the season. I'm super grateful for them stepping up, because now we can get out there and drive. We needed a tire partner for this year. Happy to have one. So I want to talk about some of my failures along this route too. Freddie from Spectune and Daphne sold me this car 6 years ago, maybe 7. 5, I don't know the timeline. I let it sit outside for at least 3 years. It got really rough. I acquired all the parts. They sold me the car under the intention that I was going to throw a motor in it. I had a bunch of LS motors. I had a tranny. I was going to throw a car together really quick. As you see, it's all tubbed. It was caged. It had fire suppression. It just needed a chassis harness and a drivetrain. It was ready to go. It's got awesome 2-way coilovers, all the angled kits, drop knuckles. The car is actually really sick. But I let it sit around and rot. Not really rot, but get rough, and I never did the work to put it together. It's a huge fail on my behalf. That's what pushed me to go buy a turnkey car. Even though I didn't like the value of that, but I had to abandon this car, unfortunately, because I'm not getting it done, and that was what was going to get me in the driver's seat. So look at that. There's our driver now. If you want to buy a 240 hatch, anybody's looking for a cage 240 hatch roller, this thing's ready to rip, and it's got to find a new home, unfortunately. The main reason I got this car was actually, besides my selfishness of wanting to drive, I actually want to introduce the kids and show them that we all tell our children that you can be anything you want to be in your life. But my parents, they weren't happy. They worked endlessly to supply for us, but they weren't what they wanted to be. My mom was a good realtor. She kicked butt in real estate. My father ran 2 businesses. He was not a businessman, but he still ran them. Not great. But neither of them were happy. They weren't doing what they wanted to do. So I've in my later years, I've really realized, how am I going to show my children that you actually need to do what you want to do to prove this? So me buying this race car is going to show them that I want to go to the racetrack. It means I'm going to work really hard at work to get the funds to be able to do this. I'm going to work really hard to make partners to do this. And I'm going to show these kids that we are going to have fun doing what we want to do in life, and that you can be anything you want to be in life. So that's part of it for me. That's part of this race car. It's a big step for me in this race car, and at Fuel Fest. It was so cool. We had the enclosed trailer out there. Mom brought Emily's little bike. We had the trailer jacked up to get the car out. Emily's rocketing out of the enclosed trailer and down the ramp. She's down there changing gear sets in the quick change with me. He's down there stealing my nuts off the quick change and playing in the oil. The goal is to show these kids that hard work, you can do what you want still, even though the economy's hard, the world's hard, inflation's expensive. If you work hard enough and set a goal, you can still achieve what you want to do. So that's a big part of this car to me, is that to show them that Dad can go do what he says he's going to do, and that we're going to be in the shop after dinner mounting tires and putting motors together and at the racetrack with the whole family. My wife always supported this. Come in here too, babe. Yeah. We got engaged at the racetrack. We ate ramen noodles for, 8 years. And then we went away from it. You were mad at me when I sold that car.
I was mad.
You were furious. Most wives are like, yes, no. And when I told her, I had spoken briefly about leaving. I have 2 kids at home. When I said I was going to buy this car and he approved that offer, I left at 8 p.m. I didn't tell her till 5 in the afternoon, hey, I'm loading up to go to Tennessee. I didn't even tell her. I didn't tell her I was going to spend the money. I just said, hey, I'm going to get a car in Tennessee. I'll be back as soon as I can, probably in 2 days or a day and a half. So she supports this 100%, and this is a family unit. Going to do this and showing some of the really cool stuff, the ups and the downs of this with kids. It's not going to be easy. This is going to be really, really hard dragging these munchkins with us. I am going to put some AC. Look at him. He's hiding behind the welder. He's going in playing with tires. I call him Bebop. So, and that's a big portion of it. So we're going to go over the Fuel Fest event a little bit. Like I said, we came in with no sleep. We were straight from Tennessee, picking the car up, then doing windshield, working on the car, etc. I actually broke a V-band flange right here in the parking lot, loading the car up the night before, which sucked. Harvey from Hutch's Welding saved my bacon and had one sent to the event for me. That way we can put the exhaust back together. So as soon as we unloaded the car, put the exhaust back together, I was already frustrated because whoever fabricated the exhaust wasn't the way I would do it, which, whatever, beside the point. And got a buddy of mine, we got that together, and I literally drove the car the entire day. The family was at the track playing in the trailer. Mom and Jade, they all kept them wrangled. And I drove nonstop the entire day. Mom got 2 ride-alongs. Jade got 2 ride-alongs, and my crew, Mike Hedges, got 2 ride-alongs. Besides that, we took 37 riders from the crowd. It's so cool to share the drifting passion with them and show them in the car why we're so crazy about it. Getting close, and honestly, it was the first time I drove the car. So as soon as we're driving it, first lap out, 5-car trains the entire day. So that's how I learned to drive the car, which was fine. I was a little rusty, but still, we made it look okay. But I was definitely holding back a little. Yeah, we had a blast. Drove the car the entire day, beat on it. The family was there riding their strollers and stuff, the little bikes down the enclosed trailer and ramping. And this is totally going to be family inspired for me.